You know the danger now. Too many apoB trucks, over too many years, building a silent pileup you can't feel. So here's the question that actually matters. What brings the trucks down? And just as important, what only sounds like it does? Start with the foundation everyone actually agrees on: how you eat and live. And the single most powerful food lever isn't cutting cholesterol. It's swapping saturated fat for unsaturated. Remember, saturated fat tells your liver to keep fewer docking bays. Swap it out and the liver clears more trucks. Add a viscous fiber, oats, beans, psyllium, and it works like a sponge for bile. Your liver makes bile out of cholesterol, so when fiber drags bile out of the body, the liver pulls more trucks from your blood to make more. Simple, real, and it genuinely lowers the number. Lose excess weight, stay active, don't smoke. Each helps, and exercise especially improves triglycerides and metabolic health. But here's the honest part almost no one tells you. Add all of it up, done well, and diet and lifestyle often lower LDL by roughly 10 to 20% depending on your baseline and how consistently you do it. 10 to 20% is real. It's the foundation for everyone, and for many people it's genuinely enough. But it's about what a low-dose medication does, which means for someone born high or already carrying disease, lifestyle alone often can't get them safe. That's not failure. That's just the size of the lever. So when someone needs more, medicine has a tool that turns out to be one of the most tested drugs in all of medicine. Remember the factory throttle from part 2, the master switch that sets how fast your liver makes cholesterol. A statin turns that throttle down. And here's the elegant twist. When the liver senses less cholesterol inside, it does exactly what it does when you're short. It builds more docking bays to pull cholesterol in from your blood. So a statin doesn't scrub your arteries. It makes your liver hungrier for trucks. A high-intensity statin can lower LDL by roughly half. Lower intensities lower it less. That's not a small effect. It's several times what lifestyle alone does, and in trial after trial across hundreds of thousands of people, major vascular events fell by roughly 1/5 for every 1 millimole per liter, about 39 milligrams per deciliter, of LDL removed. This is the drug behind the lower is better story. So why do so many people fear this drug? One word: muscles. You've heard it. Statins destroyed my muscles. And this is the most important myth in this entire series to get right, because the fear itself can cost people real protection. Let me show you the experiment that cracked it open. Doctors took people who'd all quit statins because of muscle pain and had each one secretly rotate through months of the real statin, months of a fake identical pill, and months of nothing, not knowing which was which, tracking their pain every day. If the drug caused the pain should track the drug. It didn't. The pain on the real statin and the pain on the fake sugar pill were essentially the same. The placebo reproduced about 9 out of 10 of the symptoms people had blamed on the statin. The muscle pain was real. But in that trial, most of the symptom burden was nocebo rather than a direct drug effect. It's called the nocebo effect. When you expect a side effect, because the media warned you, because a friend had it, your brain will genuinely produce it. The same thing showed up in a huge blinded trial. No extra muscle pain while people didn't know they were on the statin. And then reported muscle symptoms rose during the open label phase when people knew they were taking a statin. Now, and this matters, statin muscle pain is not always imaginary. A real minority carry a gene variant that makes one statin build up, or take another drug that clashes with it, or react to grapefruit of all things. For them, the pain is truly the drug. That is why it should be evaluated, not guessed. Clinicians can evaluate interactions, genetics, re-challenge, switch statins, or use other tools. And when a statin truly isn't enough or truly isn't tolerated, there's a whole toolbox. Each tool hitting a different step you've already met. Ezetimibe blocks cholesterol from being absorbed in your gut so the liver again reaches for more trucks. And remember the bouncer from part 3, PCSK9, the protein that drags your docking bays off to be destroyed? A new class of drugs handcuffs the bouncer. The docking bays survive, the liver clears far more trucks, and LDL can fall a lot further on top of a statin. There's more. A twice-a-year injection that quietly silences the bouncer, and a pill designed to act mainly in the liver, which may reduce muscle exposure, though it doesn't guarantee zero symptoms for people who can't take statins. The point isn't the names, it's that there are now multiple layers of tools for lowering apoB trucks. If the first tool isn't right, there may be a next one. So who actually needs the drugs versus the foundation alone? That's the real art. For someone born very high or who's already had an event, guidelines often recommend medication. The lever has to match the danger. Someone at low risk may do beautifully on lifestyle. It's a risk-matched decision made with your doctor, not a moral test you pass or fail. And the single most important idea ties back to the pile-up. The damage is cumulative. Concentration times years. Which means lowering the trucks earlier protects you more than lowering them late. Time is the part of this you can't get back, and the part you have the most power over right now. So that's what actually works. A real foundation, a proven set of tools matched to your risk, and the courage not to let a myth talk you out of protection you might need. You can now tell a lever that moves the number from a story that just sounds healthy. But we've left a few honest threads dangling. What about good cholesterol, and why did drugs that raised it fail? What about the people who do everything right and still have risk? And what's genuinely still unknown? In Part 6, the honest truth, the nuance that separates real understanding from a slogan. Part 6 is the honest truth. Good cholesterol, the drugs that failed, and what's still unknown. The nuance that makes you genuinely hard to fool. Subscribe so it finds you.